Hey guys, Ash here, Raid Shadow Legends. Welcome to the video. I am glad to have you here, taking a little bit of valuable time out of your day, chilling with me, talking about Raid, sending some love, some positive vibes your way, especially if you need them out there today. Today, by popular demand, I see requests like this coming up more and more often lately in the comments. Thank you guys for leaving video ideas in the comments, by the way. I really appreciate it. It's hard to upload 340 videos a year without a little bit of help from my friends. I get by with a little help from my friends. I like the Joe Cocker version, you know, brings me back to Wonder Years. Anybody? Am I aging myself? Anyway, perhaps a list of all rares to max out for secret rooms. Heck yeah, I could use that, especially the attack-only heroes. I backed out of that room so fast, LOL. So yeah, let's go over all of the best rares to max out, to consider, well, not even maxing out. Frankly, you can get by with level 50s in a lot of these situations as well. But I want to start with the fundamentals. Whether it's a Doom Tower secret room, some of these champions you can use in certain areas of Curse City as well. Wave content. What are we looking for, and how should we be building these champions, right? Well, seasoned vets out there, you're already gonna know this, but it bears mentioning anyway in case there's some newbies out there. Welcome to the channel. If so, I am Ash, a mediocre Raid Shadow Legends content creator.
Not on my watch.
Soulbound Bowyer, she's basically going to be the MVP, one of my favorite champions in the entire game when it comes to rares, specifically for wave content. What is the number one thing a good wave controller can have in terms of a rare, or any other rarity for that matter, is an AoE attack on their first ability, their A1. She has that in Ancestral Guidance. Her A2 and her A3 are very good also. So we want them in a stun set, right? A stun set has an 18% chance to place a stun for one turn. We want to chain stun, right? We want to chain stun, and that's the easiest way to beat this content. It's going to take you multiple tries, but it's free content. No energy or anything required, so you can keep trying and trying and trying until you fully stun and defeat the first wave. Then you go on to the next wave, and that's how you clear these difficult, rare-only secret rooms. It's tedious, but you can do it as long as you have at least like 3, 4, 5 stun sets. Ideally, all of them are going to be in stun sets. All right, so AoEs on the A1. If they don't have AoEs on the A1, you're not going to have 5 champions, probably rares, who have AoEs on the A1. You're going to be looking for rares who can bring a lot of support. Maybe a high HP rare in a bolster set or a stun set is fine for a little bit of survivability. We basically want to control, and we want to stay alive. Some areas it's not even going to be possible that run everybody in a stun set and AoEs. If they don't have an AoE on the A1, look for double AoEs, right? Or look for at least one 3-turn cooldown strong AoE attack in their kit. So a stun set's 18% chance of landing a stun, and it does not require accuracy. So it can fit on anybody, even if you don't have accuracy in their build. Masteries are going to be important. We can ignore the offense tree. The defense is going to be super important. 2 main masteries that I want you guys to pick up with the stun set. Number 1 is Fearsome Presence. That's going to take that 18% chance to land a stun. It's going to skyrocket it all the way up to 23% chance. But it does make a big difference. So that's going to increase the chance of the stun set on Fearsome Presence. But you're also going to want to pick up Harvest Despair. You're going to be landing all of these stuns. You might as well land a Leech and help heal your team as well. 60% chance to land a Leech when you land your stuns. And of course, that does work with your stun set. Again, none of this requires accuracy, which is really nice. All right. So that's how you're going to be building these champions. I saw this on Reddit. I thought it was great. It's a picture guide to the rare-only secret rooms in Doom Tower, right? Pretty cool. There's 10 rare-only secret rooms in all of Doom Tower. By the way, shout out to Cosmos Dolly Games for posting this image. 60% of them are rare magic attack champions would cover. Like, it's not all rare magic attack rooms, but you can use rare magic attackers. So very valuable, like your starting champions, for example. By the way, starting champions, Elhain is amazing. Aethel is great because she has an extra turn to get back to her AoE. Those are my two favorites for control. And then 30% are rare void HP champions, would cover 3 rooms. It only leaves 1 spirit for 100%. So I'm not sure. I mean, I haven't dove into these specific recommendations in terms of the champions. I will give my own in today's video, but I did think that the, just got an overall assessment of what we're working with here was nice in a picture guide. So thanks to hellhades.com. They have a website. It's hellhades.com, dooms-tower-secret-rooms. There you go. You can check this out. I'll link it for you guys in the description. It's easier that way. So first, I want to tackle the normals, right? And then we'll move on to the difficult stuff in the hard area, right? So the normals are very easy. It will take us 2 minutes. Rare champions, Secret Room 1 on rotation 1. Rotation 2, there's 3 rotations. Rare champions, Secret Room 1. These are the easiest secret rooms in the entire game, so you should be able to get by with kind of whatever you have as long as you've been playing for, a month or whatever, right? Well, basically, when you unlock Doom Tower, you should probably be able to finish the very first secret room in normal setting. And then beyond that, the other categories are rare void champions. That's the final secret room on rotation 3 normal, rare void champions. So we'll take a look at some of those. And again, a lot of these recommendations are going to apply to other areas as well. The other one is rare void champions again, and that's in rotation 2, secret room 5. Secret rooms tend to get more difficult the higher that you go. So rotation 3, final floor, is going to be a little bit easier than rare void affinity or roid affinity on rotation number 2. So let's take a look at, we're not going to look at every rare champion, right? We already said we want AoEs, we want stun sets, right? You're going to have to use what you have on the secret room ones, right? They're typically pretty easy. But rare void affinity. Let's see what we're working with here in terms of Void Affinity Rare Champions. I'm going to quickly rattle off a few of my favorites, and then I'll hone in on a few of my, ultimate favorites, right? By the way, this is going to be super comprehensive, meaning that I'm not going to mention every rare in the game here. I'm just going to mention some of my personal faves. Cold Heart's going to be amazing everywhere. She's the best rare in the game, still to this day here in 2025 and beyond. So Cold Heart's going to be great. She has that great turn meter control on her A3 Heartseeker. She's got a strong AoE on her A2. She's got a 4-time at random on her A1. She's going to be fantastic. She's not the best in the stun set, but she's still the best because you can control with the A3 and get a ton of damage out of her, right? Beyond that, Dilgal is pretty good. He has 1 AoE. Kurzad is one of the best. We'll take a look at Kurzad really quickly. In terms of Void rares, he's really the upper echelon. Why? He's very, very simple, but very effective. 1, he brings the big version of increased accuracy to your team. 2, he's really makes these runs a lot smoother because he has an AoE decreased defense on a 3-turn cooldown. The cool thing about him too is both of his AoE attacks on his deep ambush A3 and his flailing pick A2 are both just standard on a 3-turn cooldown. So he's the type of champion you can build him. And by the way, on your nukers, for any of these secret rooms, I would prioritize speed, survivability, and then think about damage. Yeah, you do want to kill, obviously, the targets, but you really want your team to stay alive. So just make sure that, if you don't have a reviver, things might go awry. You might be on that 3rd wave and not land a stun. It's good to be able to take a punch. Sometimes you might end up clearing these secret rooms with only 1 or 2 rares alive, and that's totally cool. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. All right, so Kurzad is great. An AoE here, an AoE there. He has turn meter fill as well on his A2. He is a champion you want to build with 100% crit rate, at least. Crit rate in the gauntlets are fine. And then he has the debuff. So Kurzad is fantastic for all those reasons. Good in a stun set. So other Void rares, guys, Fellhound. He's going to be amazing. Fellhound is one of the few rares out there in the game that you can absolutely use with a stun set with an AoE on his A1 ability, right? So it's another one. Abyssal is a great one. Fellhound is a fantastic AoE with his A1. Soulbound Bowyer, Banshee. These are the type of champions you definitely want to hold on to. We'll talk about all of them in future areas as well. So Fellhound, fantastic. Bellower is the GOAT when it comes to Void rares. This guy is going to help you anywhere you can use him. specifically all the Void Rare secret rooms. Bellower has an AoE on the A1, an AoE on the A2, and an AoE on the A3. He brings debuffs. Great with a Nature's Bounty blessing as well. He can give the big version of these debuffs. And he has block active skills on his A1. He can start kind of neutralizing control just off of his A1 ability. Sometimes I've seen players just go in and spam the A1, right? Get the block active skills, 30% chance, in addition to the stun set. So Bellower is the GOAT for secret rooms. Then we have the support champions like a Painkeeper. A Reliquary Tender is going to be fantastic for cleanses. She also revives. You have a Gear Grinder is going to be another reviver that you ought to know about. My favorite revivers, by the way, for rares, just in general, for voids, anywhere that you can use them, are going to be Reliquary Tender, right? She's got the revive, she's got the cleanse. Sign me up. My second favorite is gonna, or maybe my favorite, tied for my favorite, is gonna be Tree Shield Knot. Got the increased defense. He's got the heal, and he's gonna double revive. The best rare reviver in the game, bar none. And then in terms of his raw revive ability, reviving 2. He's the only one who can do more than 1 out of every rare in the game. Gear Grinder is going to be my number 3. Can put him in a shield set, and he's got a revive as well as a heal on his A2. So those are some of the Void champions I would be looking at. There's a bunch more. Those are some of my favorites in terms of the Void-only secret rooms. Let's move on to Hard Rotation 1. So the first one that we have for rares are rare attacks. Rare attacks. So let's filter in rare attack. This is something that you guys can do as well. This is free on the Hell Hades website. Let's see what we're working with here. All right. We talked about Kurzad. He's going to be one of your GOATs. After that, we got Koltar, who we mentioned earlier. Dilgal does have the AoE in his kit. Who else are we even looking at here? Ragemonger has an AoE. It's kind of slim pickings when we look at rare attack. Luckily, it's not the most difficult in terms of the waves out of any of the content out there. But Ragemonger has an AoE ×2. He's also placing some poisons. He hits decently hard. He's not a rare that anybody really talks about much, but he is an option. Again, Dilgal is one of my faves as well. Dilgal's pretty cool because he brings a, not as good as Kurzard in my opinion, but he does bring a nice AoE ×2 on a 3-turn cooldown. Very good. Granted, only one of those shots, the ×2 hitters, actually has a chance of stunning, but still, it's solid on a 3-turn. And then he has a triple hitter with a decreased defense, which can be nice as well. He has on his A1 a decreased speed. So Dilgal is a good option there. Man, this is kind of tough, though. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Eviscerator can kind of hit decently hard, but I'm not sure I would recommend, certainly not taking her all the way to 6 stars. 2 other Void Rare attack only options for you guys. She's very squishy, but Dagger does have an AoE with the big version of decreased defense on a 3-turn cooldown. So could certainly help you out if you're looking for champions to invest in there. And then, I think that's pretty much going to be my faves. I will give a quick shout out to Selenia. I'm not sure this is her best use case, but she does have an AoE on a 3-turn cooldown. She's really one of the best burners out of any rare in the game. So Selenia Nightcloak is another option you might want to consider there. So this is my favorite rare Void attack champions. Next is going to be rare. I want to make sure I'm not missing any. So that's it. Just rare attack on Secret Room 5 on Rotation 1. That's not too bad compared to Rotation 2 and 3. Rotation 2, we have rare attack champions. So rare spirit. I know I was missing one there. Rare spirit champions. Okay, so let's see. I think I have this already up. I do. The good news is there's actually a lot of really good rare spirit-only champions. The bad news is likely when you first encounter this floor, you probably haven't invested in a ton of them, right? So who are options? Number 1 is Soulbound Bowyer. So we already talked about her. I'm not going to repeat myself, but she's very, very good. Probably the best.
Dominic, I brought you back to where we first met. I have a surprise for you.
But the cool thing is there's another champion who's almost as effective as Soulbon Bowyer. I would invest heavily in Abyssal. I have invested heavily in Abyssal. A very cool Demon Spawn rare support champion with an AoE with block buffs on his A1 ability. Abyssal's the man, right? None of these champions jump out the page at you like a legendary or mythical champion does nowadays. But for a rare, he brings a lot to the table. He has a heal. He has an AoE on the A1. He has block buffs, which, you know, it's not a high chance, but it can be situationally beneficial when it does proc. And then we have an increased defense and an increased attack. That's going to get more damage out of anybody on your team as long as they're not HP based. Moreover, it's going to give some survivability to everybody on your team as well. You put it all together, you're looking at a great choice. So Abyssal, I cannot stress it enough, is definitely worth investing in. I took Abyssal all the way to 6 stars, and I do not regret it. You can use him in quite a few areas. He's right up there with Soulbon Bowyer to me. All right, Gnarlhorn. We got to talk about freaking Gnarlhorn, man. He's the best rare provoker, bar none. Nobody is even close when we talk about an AoE provoke out of all rares. Provoke's great. It's not as good as stun, but he has 100% provoke on a 3-turn cooldown, and he's just placing it. No weak hits to worry about there. Very effective. He also can keep himself alive vis-a-vis his unkillable on his A3 ability. That's it. There's not much to his kit. Obviously does require accuracy. You want a little bit of survivability because he is provoking everybody. He's going to get hit from time to time. So survivability and accuracy, and you've got the best provoker out there for AoE out of any rare, and he's Spirit Affinity. Sign me up. All right, Turlak. Turlak could be an option as well. He's a good a Sylvan Watcher champion. He was one of the first out there. He has an AoE with increased speed on all allies. It's the weak version, but it's better than no version, right? It's hard to find increased speed, especially on a Spirit Affinity rare. So a decently strong AoE. He's defense based, so he can take a punch too. And then he has a Veil on all allies except this champion, so he can kind of tank for the team. It is only a 1-turn Veil on a 4-turn cooldown. Not amazing, but not too bad with some damage mitigation as well. I want to go right next store. I don't know where Ingid is on the Hell Hades ranking, but he's one of my faves too, right? So what does he do? He has an AoE, turn meter fill for each leech on each enemy. This is a 3-turn cooldown. He has another AoE on another 3-turn cooldown. I would put him right up there below the Abyssals and the Soulbon Bowyer, but right in at the top of that next tier is Ingid Twiststaff. People sleep on this dude. An AoE, increased accuracy on all allies, and a 75% leech on all enemies. He's got your healing. He's helping out with your accuracy. You're going to put him in a stun set. He'll be stunning on 2-3-turn AoEs as well, and he has a decreased defense on his A1. He also has accuracy in all battles. There's not many, other than the starting champions, there's not many auras that we can use here in these secret rooms. That 30 accuracy is actually really solid in all battles for a rare. Also works in Soultranos. Soultranos, bro. Come on, Ash, you even play Raid? You even Raid, man?
Hey, it's okay.
All right, so those are my favorite rares. I could go on forever, baby. I love talking Spirit Affinity rares. Is there any others I should give a quick honorable to? Man, there's actually a lot of good Spirit Affinity rares. There really are, guys. Pour out a little for Corpulent Cadaver. I just want to make sure I'm not, because some of them that I love, they're a little bit lower ranked, so I just want to make, where do they put Ingid? My man. Did I miss him? I probably missed him, right? Ingid. Oh, no. They don't. Come on. No. No way. No. Is he not even on the... Is he not even on the list? What a snub. What a snub. All right, I should mention their number 1 rank, though. It's Marquez. She can be good as a damage dealer. She's one of the strongest rare nukers out there in the game. She has an AoE on a 3-turn cooldown. Only 1 AoE, but what I like about her is she brings a freeze. A very good freeze on a 4-turn cooldown, 100% chance of landing. So you put that with an AoE, which actually smacks on a defense-based nuker. She's a great option as well. So man, those are a lot of Spirit Affinity champions, but those are the best of the best in my opinion. There's others that you can use, but those are the best. Okay, next up, guys, is Rare Attack Champions. This is Secret Room 9 Rotation 2. Rare Attack Champions, where am I going? Okay, here we go. A lot of these are going to be a bit repetitive at this point, so I'm not going to look at all the champions here. I didn't want this video to be 2 hours long, but like every video, it's getting that way. It's already going that way.
Honestly, could not help myself.
Coulthart, we talked about her. She's great for damage, right? Great for control, too. Eris, not a bad support option, honestly, in Eris. She's known for like clan boss, right? She has an AoE increased speed. She's removing debuffs. She does have a counterattack, but she doesn't have a lot of control in her kit. So even though she's one of my favorite rares and she's highest ranked here or second highest ranked to Coulthart, I like her, don't love her, right? I love Soulbound Bowyer. War Maiden's good for damage. I'd still put her in a stun set and land that big version of decreased defense. She's obviously campaign farmable as well. A champion like Frozen Banshee, you know, cool. Grave Chill Killer, cool, but not amazing because they don't have AoEs. They're single target, even though they're amazing in some other areas, right? Aethel. I love me some Aethel. Aethel is, again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the starters here, but there's more than meets the eye on Aethel because she has an AoE on a 3-turn cooldown, but what you want to do is, intuitively, you'd think you want to use the buffing ability first, right? Use the buffing ability first, and then you're ready to go in with a big nuke. No. Not on wave content. On wave content, we open up with the AoE before the buffs. Next turn, we use the Higher Blessing to grant an extra turn. That way we can get back to the AoE even faster. She also brings the big version of Weaken. So I really love her. You can get back to that in 2 turns, ostensibly, on that AoE. Same thing with Elhain. I mean, not the same thing, but she's very good with 2 AoEs, both, again, 4-turn and a 3-turn cooldown. She can deal a lot of damage, too. She's one in Aethel, or Elhain, excuse me, that a lot of players end up building dupes of for these secret rooms. So you could consider building a dupe of an AoE, double AoE champion as well to help you get through this content if you have them. All right, who else? Dilgal we talked about, Kurzad Deepheart we talked about, Dagger we talked about, Pathfinder Kate, Selenia we talked about. Let me see really quickly here. Elhain we talked about. I don't love Galek as much, but you can get by with him. But definitely my least favorite of the starters. Let me talk about Berserker, who I'm a big fan of. And let's talk about Candleguard. She's way at the bottom, but don't sleep on Candleguard, man. Candleguard is a rare that people don't talk about a lot, but she's a lot better than people give her credit for. I respectfully disagree with the ranking on Candleguard, right? She's squishy. You got to know that a lot of rare nukers are squishy. She has removing or stealing buffs on her A1, which can be handy in some situations, not as much in wave content, but sometimes. She has an AoE weaken on a 3-turn cooldown. Then she has another AoE on a 4-turn cooldown. She brings her own buffs as well. Really strong nuker. She does a lot of damage, even in a stun set, so don't sleep on Candleguard. Another one is Berserker. I like Candleguard more than Berserker, but again, you know, we're working with limited, there he is. We're looking limited champions. Berserker actually will get you a lot of utility because he's Spirit Affinity. There's a lot of Spirit and a lot of Magic Affinity areas. He has an AoE ×2 with Ignore Defense. This guy can pack a punch. So if you're looking for some damage, someone to go in there, I'd still run him in a stun set. Someone to go in there and finish the champions off, Berserker can get the job done. He's not the best, but you could do a lot worse too. So those are some of my favorites, guys. Again, there's a lot of good champions here, but those are some of my favorite attack-based rare champions. Now let's go into rare magic champions. So rare magic affinities. Apothecary is going to be great everywhere. He's good with the heals. He's good with the increased speed. He's not the best, again, because usually we're looking for AoEs with stun sets, as we've said a few times now, but he can still help you out, obviously, in a big way. Just such a great support and buffer. Bellower is going to be, again, one of your absolute best options in terms of rare supports out there. Probably the best champion in all rares for secret rooms on a support level, rare support level, is Bellower. AoEs everywhere. You guys get the drill. He's very, very good. All right, guys, let me shout out some of my favorite magics, my rare magic champions, right? So Apothecary we talked about, Kayle we talked about, but let me give you the best of the best here, right? Let me just cut to the chase, right? Banshee. Banshee is amazing, and she's campaign farmable as well. I forget which stage, but you'll find her. She's got an AoE on the A1 and AoE on the A2. What more do you want? She's only AoEs. She does have a 2-time at random. Just don't use the death ray. Only use the A1 or the A2. She has a decreased defense on the A1 as well to help with your damage, and she's removing a random buff from the target on the A2, which, by the way, is on a 2-turn cooldown when booked. People sleep on Banshee. Let me just go to my GOAT. One of my favorite rares for secret rooms in the game, Magic Affinity, is Executioner. I use this dude on all my teams. He's got an AoE, decreased turn meter, with a decreased speed, with a lot of damage from a tanky mofo. Moreover, he brings his own counterattack, and then he counterattacks and lands stuns on his A1. Executioner in a stun set is an insane control champion because Tumult is one of the most underrated and one of the best AoEs out of any rare out there in the game. So much control with the decreased turn meter and the decreased speed. Never, never, ever sleep on Executioner. Have I made my point? Am I making my point? All right, who else we got here? Fleshmonger deserves a quick little shout out. He is a rare debuffer. He has an extra turn mechanic, which helps him get back to that A3 easier, just like we talked about with Aethel, right? He has an AoE decreased defense, big version, 75% or 80 with a sniper mastery, but you could do a lot worse. He deserves a shout out, but right next door is another campaign farmable Magic Affinity rare champion in Greybeard. Greybeard has an AoE freeze on a 3-turn cooldown. AoE freeze, you can put him in a stun set. He also has provoke on his A1, and he's campaign farmable. He's easy to get. He's good control. He's defense based. He's easy to keep alive as well. All right, anybody else here? I feel like I'm missing probably a couple good options for rare champions, rare magic champions. We talked about Candleguard. We talked about, let's see, I think that's probably most of my favorites. Banshee. Yeah, that's a pretty good one. I'll give a quick little shout out to Judge. I think the Judge is an interesting champion. I would take all these champions to level 50 first before you fully invest. He has an AoE ×2 Blade Dance that's on a 3-turn cooldown. He's bringing the big version of decreased speed or decreased attack or decreased defense or decreased accuracy with each hit. He's a very interesting, a very unique champion because of that passive and chaos armor. But again, an AoE 3-turn cooldown, he could be an option if you're struggling to find others out there. All right, only one more, maybe two other. That's rare magic. That was Secret Room 12 and Rotation 2. Let's see what we have here. We have Corrupted Force Magic HP, rare HP champions. And then that's it, right? 6-star voids. Rare HPs. Let's get to it. So rare HP champions, let me go to one of my absolute favorites right out the gate here, and it's going to be Branch Arm Lasser. He is an HP champion, which is amazing because he has an AoE ×2 on a 3-turn cooldown with a decreased attack and a shield on all frickin' allies. This dude's a monster. Logger's Bane is a gift to this secret room. He also brings a provoke on one enemy and a strengthen. You just want to provoke the enemy with the highest turn meter with the A3. He's got a triple hitter with a heal on his A1. Branch Arm Lasser is going to be your number one, your go-to if you have him for this particular area. You could get clever and do an Ironclad heal team if you wanted to. Painkeeper, we already talked about, is a great option. So let me just talk quickly about Painkeeper and about Painkeeper's cool because she has an AoE on a 4-turn cooldown, but a good heal, and she'll keep the ability cycling with her combat tactics. She's a good support rare champion. And we already talked about Gear Grinder, but he's going to be one of the best supports. You put him in a shield set, he'll handle your heals, and if somebody dies NBD, Gear Grinder's got you covered, right? He's an HP-based rare champion. Coffin Smasher can bring a burn for you if you're looking for a little bit more damage. He's not my fave personally, but he can get the job done. We already talked about Gnarlhorn. He's going to be one of your best options. Let's talk about Doomscreech. Doomscreech low-key has the best turn meter boost, just one of the best kits, frankly, out of any rare out there in the game, and he's HP based. He has an AoE on Shelter, doesn't do much damage, but it is an AoE, albeit on a 5-turn cooldown. But what's really cool about his kit is his base HP is high enough to put him in a shield set or a bolster set. He has a juicy 30% turn meter fill. That's insane. Even for legendaries, that's good. And he has that. And he's one of 2 rare champions with a 3-turn increased defense, big version, heat and marked. That's it. On the same ability with the turn meter fill. He's a very, very good Void rare champion, one of the best, frankly, out there in the game. He can help you out a lot. All right, anybody else here who I would highly recommend? Oh, man, there's a lot of bad Void or rares in general, excuse me. Let's see. I used Draconis on my very first, time, so I'll give him a little shout out. I don't think he's gonna he's gonna be the best option for you out there. Oh, my bad. He's a Sacred Order rare. It's been a while since I've used my man Draconis. But he is an option. He's got a shield if you need survivability and heals. He's got a shield. He's got a cleanse on a single target ally with more heals and more heals on his A1. So good support if you're looking for it there. Listen, there's not a lot of good rare HP-based champions. The good news is that particular secret room, though, is floor 7. So it's not insanely difficult. All right, guys, is that it? I think that's enough, right? Void attack champions, epics, Nysarian, Void, Force, Magic, support. All right, guys, that is it. Those are my favorite rare options for every single secret room in the game. Hopefully you guys found this video helpful. Let me know about it in the comments. Maybe share it with your clan. I don't know. If you did, I appreciate you watching all the way till the end. Much love. And as always, take care, guys.